All right. So, our first review of the day is going to be for the film A Real Pain. A Real Pain is a movie written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg, who also stars in the film. This is his second feature film there. And it details two cousins there, two cousins who over the years have grown distant with each other. But after the passing of their grandmother there, one of her kind of last will and testaments was that both the brothers go on a trip together to her old place where she grew up, old country there in Poland where she grew up there, sightsee, go visit her old home, also go visit where the concentration camps are. And throughout the film, you see kind of why these cousins have been so distant in their lives. You know what I mean? How much of their lives have kind of drifted apart over the years. And the other cousin here is Kieran Culkin, who's Benji in this. Kieran Culkin there, who's been in tons of stuff. People most recently have seen him in Succession, which people say a lot of this performance is very much channeling his character from Succession there. And then they're on a tour group there with a lot of people sightseeing a lot of things in Poland there, as you see here. So I'm gonna go around, get your thoughts on this. Eris, what are your thoughts on A Real Pain?
I think I think it's good. I think it's a good movie. I don't know if this is a hot take, but uh obviously I think Kieran and Eisenberg, I think both their performances are absolutely incredible. Um and I think they have great chemistry, and I really dug their arc. But I think overall the movie's a little mid. That might be a hot take.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
like as I'm talking more on like technical sides. I think it's not. It's like it's a good looking movie. That scene right there where they're on the roof and behind that sign and they're all awash in red. Like I think that's a beautiful looking shot. There's some really beautiful looking shots in this movie, but um, you know, I think it doesn't blow me away. And yes, Kieran Culkin is kind of just being Roman Roy again. Uh,
Mm.
but he's really fucking good at it, and I think it's a well-deserved nomination.
And then Jesse Eisenberg, he directed another film. Have you seen his other film called When You Finish Saving the World? Have you seen that?
I have not seen that one. I
Okay.
hadn't even heard of it until I was like kind of researching uh, this movie a little bit.
Yeah. And speaking of Stranger Things, it stars one of the kids from Stranger Things, actually. Finn Wolfhard there. It stars one of the kids from Stranger Things.
Finn Wolfhard looks like a baby Jesse Eisenberg, so
That is true. So maybe was it like a Woody Allen thing? He's like, I'm gonna put somebody that kind of has put somebody in there that's just me, basically.
is there a Nebuchadnezzar Jewish kid around here?
But yeah, so I did not see that film. With this, so this is the second one. Um, I think it's a solid film. I think it's a good film here with Real Pain. I get that off right off the bat there. Um, the two of them, I mean, it's the whole opposite thing. You know, Kieran Culkin is very outgoing. He's brash. You know, he's funny. He charms everybody in the room that's in there. And
Yeah.
is it a little bit like, I mean, if you watch Succession, is it a little bit like his character in Succession? Yeah,
Yeah.
it is like that, but I mean, hey, he's pretty good at it. And Jesse Eisenberg, if you've seen Jesse Eisenberg performances before, it's a little similar to that. I mean, he's a very, kind of nebbish, very squirrely, introverted kind of guy, bottled in,
Awkward.
awkward. I think he's refined it and toned it, a little bit over the years and kind of gave it a lot more layers. And I think that's one of the examples of that here, where it's a little bit of that, but it's also a lot of layers kind of going on there with his character, and he has to play such a more understated performance compared to Kieran Culkin, who's a more like a bigger performance that you more see right off the bat. So I did appreciate that kind of going on with Jesse Eisenberg in that, and I do think I mean, one of the selling points of this movie is because it's the two of them and how they bounce off each other. And if that doesn't work, really the whole movie kind of falls apart. But luckily, I do think they are really amazing together. How did you feel? You said you really liked them.
Yeah, I think they're terrific together. It's a good pairing. Uh, just you can almost think of it gave me it like it kind of reminded me of Kieran Culkin and Michael Cera and Scott Pilgrim a little bit, just in like the awkwardness to confidence dynamic. But yeah, it like you said, it's like I've seen Jesse Eisenberg play this. Like Jesse Eisenberg can play this role in his sleep. And it's like same with Kieran Culkin. Like they're not exactly challenging roles for the actors, but I think their chemistry is incredibly good. And like I don't know if we want to get into spoilers necessarily, but
Do you feel like you need to get into spoilers to dig into some more things, or?
well, I'm just thinking of like one specific aspect of Kieran Culkin's character, like when Eisenberg like drops some information and you find out, and I think like that adds a whole new layer to their dynamic. And then when they're talking about it on the roof, like that scene, I was so locked in. I was like, damn, like I would watch another movie of them together.
Mm.
Let's give them the Bob Hope and Bing Crosby treatment.
Oh yeah, maybe it could be like that. Or with the modern day version of what Steve Martin and what's that other actor's name? Martin Short.
Martin Short.
Yeah. Maybe it could be something like that. Yeah, I mean, when that more information is revealed, because this really, I mean, it's a dramedy. This is a
Yeah.
perfect film to really describe that, of like what a dramedy is, because there's moments of the comedy, and then there's also the moments of the dramatic elements that come in here, with the two characters, and like you mentioned, the information that gets revealed about one of the characters and how that kind of plays into things. Also kind of has a thing there, and also just like you said, I mean, it stresses that these two have been apart for so long, and this is one of the rare times they've seen each other for this long a period of the longest they've seen each other for such a period of time there, and
Yeah.
and how as you grow older, life kind of just gets in the way. You know what I mean? Like you're busy, you're working, you're doing stuff. Jesse Eisenberg has a family in this, so he's like, I got family, I got work, and also they live in kind of far away, so it's kind of like it's like
Yeah.
there's just so much kind of going on. So that's also, I think, very into something like this. And the supporting, how did you feel about the supporting cast of this? Like being on.
I mean, they were good. The guy that plays the tour guide, I've seen him in a couple things, I think.
Yeah, Will Sharp or Sharpay there. It says here he's been in things like The House. He was in The Black Pond, The Darkest Universe. He was in White Lotus. He was in a season of that show.
Could have been that. I think I haven't actually watched White Lotus, but I've like been in the room while it was on, so might have been that. Okay. But I liked him. I liked him. I thought he was really good. Jennifer Grey is in this, which is cool, but also her character doesn't really do a lot, and I'm like, why is this Jennifer Grey?
Yeah. At first, I didn't recognize her. At first, I was like, "Oh, that's Jennifer Grey." Yeah, yeah, she plays a divorcee on this trip there when they're kind of sightseeing and taken around there to Poland. At first, I thought there was kind of going to be a moment where, like, I'm like, is Kieran Culkin going to hook up with Jennifer Grey in this?
I would have. This film would have gotten like 6 stars if that happened. I would have loved that.
Yeah, I was like, because it's like he's trying to. It seems like he's trying to make some moves on her a little bit. I was like, oh, is he trying to pick her up a little bit? I was like,
and
oh, okay.
Honestly, same. I would.
Yeah, I mean, hey, she still looks good.
It's Jennifer Grey, exactly.
Dirty Dancing. I mean, hey, I mean, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I mean, Jennifer Grey.
Shit. Um,
Yeah,
but
but
yeah, she's not in much of the movie, and
no.
I can't think of like any. She doesn't have like a major scene, so it is just like weird for him. Like this is like someone who's like used to be a huge movie star. Like
Yeah. I mean, it's just. I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, she's not in it really a whole lot. I mean, she comes in, yeah, with just kind of the background of like the group trip type of aspect there that they're on there with. That's there. But yeah, like I said, the main focus is just the two of the cousins. Really, is the main.
yeah, and I didn't really know much about the movie going into it. Like I think I had seen like half of a trailer when I saw a movie at the local indie theater. So I honestly thought they were playing. I thought they were playing brothers. Uh, and then I was like, oh, it's a cousin thing. And then I also had no idea that uh, so much of the background of this movie is about the Holocaust. I
Yeah,
was like, oh, oh, this. There's like a whole serious backdrop. Like I just thought I was like, oh, it's like two bros on a road trip. I'm like, oh no, it's like two cousins on a Holocaust tour while they go to see their grandma's house. Like,
yeah,
so definitely, just like a little surprised because like I definitely thought it was gonna be a little bit more comedic than it actually ended up being. Um, until like I think the day before I saw it, I had heard it was like not. It was more serious, less laugh a minute.
mm, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think it uh I think it balances out pretty well. I think with the
I
comedy.
think it, I think it does too, and I think um I think Karen's manic energy like does a really good job of like making you kind of feel Eisenberg's discomfort at the situations he's being put in, but you're also like, oh, but Karen Culkin's kind of right though, you know.
Raven Chris said, "You think it'd be hard to make a movie connected to the Holocaust funny at all?" There, something like that. Yeah. I think it's good with drama, good at the comedy. I think the both leads are very good. Jesse Eisenberg, Kieran Culkin. I think they bounce off each other really well. There's a lot of really great moments in the movie. If I had a list of like best 20 movies of 2024, I'd say it would kind of make that list there. If I expanded it out a little bit more, it would probably make that list. But yeah, overall I enjoyed watching this. It's a quick watch. It's only an hour and 30 minutes. It's not a very long movie.
Yeah, I that's always goes a long way for any movie these days. I'm like, you tell me this is sub 2 hours?
Yeah.
Like, I like a nice lean movie like that.
And it gets in and it has a good ending too. I think it ends on a solid note there as well. Yeah. For me, I would give it like a strong tune in for me. And then so our rating system, so the highest you can give something, you give something this is cinema, and then below that is a peak, and then below that is a tune in, and then you can give something a stream it. And then our more negative ratings, if you didn't like something, so we have the very lowest you can give something is waste of fucking film. Then above that is a burn it. Then there's like a skip it slash tune out. So what would be your final rating?
I would also give it a strong tune in, but I am down to rewatch it at some point. Like maybe my opinion will change. Maybe I'll go. Maybe I'll bump it up to peak. But yeah, I would give it a strong tune in.
Hmm,
I
okay.
think it's a well deserved nomination for Culkin at the Oscars. Uh, even though he literally is just doing Roman Roy, he's he's kind of born to play that, but it's also just kind of how he is in real life. So I'm like, how good is this acting really? If you're just like that.
Yeah.